All right, the unprecedented move, the first of its kind, ANC Youth League Northwest. We're starting with our podcast, and to do it with the best of the best in the province. We're going to delve into myriad of activities, myriad of issues in the province, from politics, government, issues of malfeasance that have been derailing our province, and other issues that affect you and I and ordinary persons on the street. To do that, I'm with Vessel Smuren, the chairperson of the ANC Youth League in the Northwest, and I'm also with the chairperson of the ANC in the Northwest, who today we are honored to have you. Chair, thank you so much.
Dumela ntate.
This is the chair of chairs, chair.
Okay.
Yeah, chairperson, chair of chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to go?
Ole ke chairperson wa bana.
All right, let me start with chairperson abaholo now. Yeah, good to have you. You've been very busy. Very busy. Tunsalorole, yeah. I wanted to start with that. The concept behind Tunsalorole, because it has united our community. One of the things we have empirical evidence, the research that was done. We have been having sporadic protests around communities, not because of issues per se, but because of knowledge. They don't know how far off are you in terms of services. But you've managed to bridge that gap that have been existing. People know now, instead of today, water will be restored in 2 days. People who come and lie, the counter-revolutionaries, have no options now because you're on the ground, you speak to the people, and that is a commendable move. Why this concept?
Now you'll recall that as the ANC were very worried. Firstly about the social distance between us and our people. That more often than not, we don't interact with the general population out there.
Yeah.
We are under the impression that when we have spoken to members of the ANC, we have spoken to the people. And as a result, people did not know what government is doing because we are not communicating. Now, the purpose of Tunsalorole was let's interact with communities. Firstly, let's understand what are the challenges that they are facing. But secondly, let's attend expeditiously to those challenges because we know that our people want simple things. They are not difficult. They want water. They have challenges with load shedding. They want proper streets. They want sewer to be fixed because there are just sewer leakages all over which are creating serious problems. They want jobs. The majority of our people are not working and so on. Your unemployed graduates, they will say we went to school and so on. We are not getting opportunities. So some of those things. So Tunsalorole was crafted around those things. What is it that we can do as government?
Yeah.
We said we can't be sitting in offices and we call ourselves people's representatives or public representatives. We need to go out there. We then said, let's use a day which is called Friday. Every Friday, all of us get out of offices. Let's go to communities. And we said we must go to each and every municipality in the Northwest and attend to those challenges. But the other problem which we had as this government is that most of these municipalities were not spending conditional grants. Conditional grants which are meant to address those basic services. We said, let's go in there. Let's get the municipality, let's get everybody. And let's say you have a municipal infrastructure grant, which is geared towards attending these problems. You are not using this money. Let's start working. Let's start this Friday and so on. Then we started to work.
And I like the concept
You have a WISIG, which is meant for water. In this area, there is no water and so on. Let's get in there. Let's do this work. We do it physically with those contractors who are appointed and so on. I always make example with Mamusa, for an example. That we went to Mamusa, sewer was blocked for more than 3 months. We went in there. We said, but why are you not fixing this problem? They said, no, the contractor is busy. We said, call that contractor. We said to him, we are doing this work with you today. That thing was unblocked within 3 hours.
Imagine, real-time response.
It was unblocked within 3 hours. I will make one other practical example. 2 weeks ago, I went to Ward 1 in Tihani, Matlosana.
People there, they've been staying without water for the past 5 years. And it was a simple thing. Just to switch the water, redirect it to an elevated water tank in order for our people to get water. They've not been doing that exercise. We said, let's do it. I said, I'm not leaving this area up until people in this area, they have water.
Wow.
I spent 3 days in that area. When I left that area, people had water.
That's commendable.
Yeah.
That's commendable. And one thing you talk about is how you expedite services. Because services, you say, the red tape that exists in government, it's a thing of the past.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's just a problem. That is why in English, thought-provoking is accelerated service delivery.
Yeah.
We must accelerate it. Yesterday, I was saying, when I was addressing Lekgotla, that we need to accelerate the acceleration. You can use your own English. I don't know what is that thing in English, but we must accelerate the acceleration. We must be faster and so on, because we need to be faster.
Yeah.
Our people are impatient. They've been waiting for these services like forever. And other things can be done, and they can be done immediately. It's just that people are dragging their feet. They don't have the interest of our people at heart. So we need to change the perception.
Yeah.
And we need to change the mindset of the officials that we have employed in government and so on. I was asking them one question. You go to work at 8. You log off at 8:30. What are you doing the whole day? Because you need to be knowing in each and every hour, what is it that we have done on that specific day. But you just go there, you open a computer,
and that's it.
You type one paragraph, and then after that, you pick up, you call your friends and so on, you play cards. We can't have civil servants who are like that.
Yeah.
We need revocats, people who are going to be serious about service delivery.
I think it boils down to the issue of meritocracy. We have been having people in those positions. Actually, I've heard you now addressing some of them, the technocrats that are here, to say kleptocracy that existed before should stop. You want people to be appointed on merit.
Yeah, that we are going to do. Let me divert a bit, because I like this example, and I don't know why am I enjoying this thing, and it's a bad thing, but I like it.
Yeah.
And I like making example with this one municipality, and I will continue to do so.
Please don't mention this about.
I'm going to do exactly that.
Okay, sure.
Because that's where we started with our skills audit, skills and qualifications audit. I said, let's do this work. Let's check who are these people that we have employed. Do they have the relevant academic qualifications? Do they understand what is it that they are supposed to be doing and so on?
In terms of policy making, how to run government, when we look at the issue around young people who are not working, we are here today, people are living in squalor conditions. Where do you think we should zoom into so that we can make those corrections?
No, so we have a responsibility to ensure that there are opportunities. That is why on a daily basis, I'm spending sleepless nights, by the way, talking to investors for people to come and invest in the Northwest in order for us to create employment. And I'm happy we are getting positive response, both domestically and internationally. And I'm quite excited about what the Chinese are doing in this province.
Yeah.
In the third quarter of 2023, only 3 provinces, there was an increase on employment. That is ourselves, Limpopo, and KwaZulu-Natal.
Great.
It means we are doing well, we are getting there. And with all these projects that are now on the pipeline, whether it's your mega cities, whether it's your gas to power and so on, we are going to employ a lot of young people into all these things that we are doing. Because I
thought that would be music to the ears of the young people that are here. I thought it's a music to the ears.
No, that's commendable. And I've said to the private sector that we need to work together. We need a partnership. We must do this thing together. And I'm quite excited that some of the mining houses, they are doing exactly that. Yesterday, when I opened this Lekgotla, I spoke about the work that is being done by Sibanye, the work that is being done by Harmony. I'm interacting with some of them. Yesterday, I was with the GM of Sun City. We were talking about some of these things and so on. So now we are getting there. Unemployment can't be over 40%. It is not possible. It can't be. We need to reduce unemployment drastically, not only in this province, but in this country. And we can only be able to do so when we work together with the private sector.
I'm going to come back to you from the political perspective and then juxtapose that with his response. You hear the chair, the plan is there, the wheels are moving. As young people hearing what government is planning in terms of thwarting the numbers, look at how the numbers were high, but now are dwindling. That should be music to your ears.
Yeah, that's commendable, Luther. But importantly, before I get to that, I think in a very special way, we need to commend the PEC of the ANC. Because for any other thing to thrive, be it issues of service delivery, youth unemployment, you first need the ANC that is stable. Because in our province previously, we used to have a serious instability in as far as politics are concerned. And that has always made it difficult even for investors to come and invest in our province. Because once the leader of government, which is the African National Congress, is unstable, it's going to be very difficult for the private sector to come and invest. Now, yesterday in the opening of the Khotla, we through the chairperson's political overview, we had a very good, we got the good news in his political account, wherein he indicated to us the willingness by the private sector to come and invest in our province. Because remember, government does not necessarily create employment, but it creates a conducive environment for the private sector to come and invest and in making sure that we create employment, more especially for young people. I mean, for the very first time, we had the leadership of the ANC that can be able to think out of the box. I mean, conventional methods have proved that they are not working. We can't have young people being dependent on the programs of EPWP, programs of internships and all that. But we needed to radicalize the situation, accelerate the acceleration, like the chairperson is correctly putting it. And the people are starting to show confidence in the African National Congress because the chairperson of the ANC is very vehement about the investment of the private sector so that we are able to thrive. I mean, he did mention the issue of the Pilanesberg airport. He spoke about the issues of power and all that. I mean, all those issues that affect young people directly. When we speak of the issue of entrepreneurship, the issue of gas and the electricity that is giving us a problem, it's just, they've got a serious effect.
I'll actually come there because you are putting a cart before the horse. I want to ask the chair that question so that you can respond on that. Because one other issue that has been a thorny in the province is deep-rooted division. Actually, I think since 1994, you'll correct me if I'm exaggerating. You, the chairperson who's facing a mammoth task. You've inherited an ANC that was divided before. Now there are people who, you have a task to unite all these people. You've inherited a government that is also coming from Section 100. So it's a mammoth task that you are facing, and as is, it appears that to you, you're taking this like water on the dove's back.
We are getting there. Unity of the African National Congress is not negotiable. We are not going to negotiate with anybody with these factional tendencies. They are still there. They are still there and so on. It's still a long way to go. But we are getting there, and we are almost there. Like I said, even in the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC, you still have people who don't have this vision of unifying the African National Congress. You still have those individuals, few of them and so on. But we will not lose patience. That is why I meet with them individually, even before PECs and so on, and say, but comrades, this is not how we do things in the ANC. Things are done this way. Why do we have these fights all the time in the ANC? It's about resources at times. Because I'm deployed today as the MEC, I get into that office, I fire others as if they are not members of the ANC. They go, they regroup. They fight. Tomorrow I'm removed. The other one comes in, he fires these ones. It's something that does not come to an end. I said, we are all equal members of the African National Congress, all of us. And all of us, we deserve opportunities, but not only in government. And that is why I'm always insisting to the Youth League, and I'm happy they are heading the call. Young people must be encouraged to complete their studies. And once they've done so, young people must be encouraged to apply for these positions in government.
Higher position.
Yeah, because we need them in the administration. It's bad in our administration as we speak, by the way. We have a lot of people who don't understand what it means to be there. So we need them to get in there. And not only fight about being an MP, an MPL, a councillor, and so on, as if without those things you can't do anything. Others, they even kill themselves if they are not councillors, or if they are not MPs and so on. So it's not about that. ANC is big. ANC, like Comrade Khomu was saying, ANC is bigger than Parliament. And when he was saying ANC is bigger than Parliament, he was saying focus can't only be in Parliament. We must also think outside Parliament.
Yeah.
Who owns these mines in Rustenburg? Who are the owners?
Those are conglomerates.
I've requested, by the way, last year already, I said I need to have a session with these CEOs because I wanted us to talk about the unemployment rate in this province. Secondly, we must talk about how are they investing in this province. Thirdly, we must talk about commodifying all these minerals that they are taking out of this province and so on. They said to me, we can only have a visual meeting because we are not in the country. They are outside the country.
So they're not even
So they are running this province, they are running this country from Europe and so on. So we can't have that type of a situation. So these young people must think about those things, not think only about the public sector. They must think about the private sector. They must take over these mines. Now, in the second phase of our revolution, and that second phase of our revolution is about the economy. It's not about the political power. We are done. We achieved that in 1994 and so on. Now we must focus on the economy. This economy must be in our hands. 93.5% of the people of this province are Africans.
Can I put you in the corner?
But the economy is with who?
Can I put you in the corner?
Don't put me in the corner. I don't like corners.
You think we should just take this land and move forward? What do you think?
Huh?
You think we should just take these farms and just move? Should expropriate them?
No, we don't just take things and move and so on. We do things properly. You see in the ANC, we plan things properly and so on. That's why when I started, I said young people must go to school and complete their studies. In order for them to be able to take over these things, they must run them properly. You can't just take things. The next thing people don't plow and so on. It's just a big piece of land. They are not doing anything.
From here to Zerast, one person owns one farm. From here, 30 kilometers.
Now we are getting there slowly. Don't worry. We are getting there.
Okay.
Yeah. And with the support of the Youth League, I said this is the preparatory school. They must take over from us.
Yeah.
That's why I want them now to focus on the economy. This economy must be in our hands.
I'm going to take 2-3. I would want to take coming through a question from, I see our veterans are here. Young people are here. If SACP is also here.
Women's League.
Women's League, if it's also here. Just a comment, a short one. You don't need a long statement. Just a short comment through a question. The chair's here, so that we can demystify some of these concepts that are existing there. We can correct them if needs be, or we can intensify with great vigor what the government and ANC has already begun here in the province. You hear, Chair, actually we spoke about the university, the establishment of the university here in Rustenburg. This is something that they were also applauded for. What do you think of the idea? Because I think you are also catapulting the interest of the young people by saying we should ensure that young people go to school.
It's not what I think about it. It's our idea. And we are at an advanced stage, by the way. The municipality of Rustenburg has made land available. The team from the Department of Mineral Resources, from the office of Mantashe, the team from my office and the municipality, they met here, they went to assess the land and so on. We are satisfied. So we are starting.
Do you know you're number 2, the entire country, in terms of deploying young people as mayors?
Yeah.
So, do you know that's how much effort you made in terms of making sure that there's a greater representation in this municipality?
Yeah. No, we know, and we want to be number 1.
Yeah.
Ours is to be number 1 on everything.
Yeah.
That is why even when we are getting a report in the National Executive Committee,
about how we fared in the previous voter registration. They said at least Northwest in our strongholds is doing well. Graphs are going up. Northwest is number 2 and so on. I said to the secretary, Aish, I'm not happy, man. We can't be number 2. We are supposed to be number 1.
Yeah.
This province must be number 1 on everything, and we'll get there.
How do we get there?
We'll get there.
Unity. You said unity, which is something that
Yeah.
I really liked from your statement.
The first thing is unity. The second one is to renew the African National Congress. We must have correct people. Because there are other people who are not supposed to be in the ANC. They are in the ANC by default. The third one is to rebuild the organization itself. And once we have done so, I can tell you it is going to be easy. And we are getting there. We are getting, the chairperson of the Youth League, I think he was saying earlier on, you know, for many years, this organization, this province was divided, highly divided.
Yeah.
But the situation now is different. We still have pockets of people who want to do funny things, but at least now we are getting somewhere. We are a force to be reckoned with. People are now beginning to listen to us. And let me share something with you which I did not share with many people. I said to the president of the ANC that we want to be part of the national politics.
Yeah.
We must be there. We want to see ministers from this province. We want to see CEOs of cities from this province. We want to see this province occupying serious positions in all these other entities. About ESCOM, about SABC.
But the capacity is there. Why is it not happening?
Yeah.
I'm always under. And if you ask that question, people are accusing you of being a regionalist.
Yeah, no, it's because of our divisions. We've been fighting amongst ourselves, not focusing on important things. Once we kill this division, once we kick this thing in the butt, and we are united and so on, people will begin to listen to us.
I don't want to throw the baby with the bathwater, but in this instance, you've heard the chair, very clear in terms of what needs to happen. But one of the things that the ANC has done traditionally is to ensure that they exert pressure on the mother body to ensure that all these policies that have been agreed upon are implemented. Are you there?
Yeah, we were born ready. We are there. We are doing that quite well. Like the chair has indicated, remember he's a former chairperson Yaban. I agree he said I'm the chairperson. So that is starting to show up. That is starting to show up because for the like he indicated, we have been longing for this ANC that is not timid. ANC that fights for its people. From its formation in time immemorial, the ANC has always been biased to the people. So for the very first time, the ANC now is starting to speak about these things that we were worried about as members of the ANC, as the society in general. They're speaking about these banks. They're speaking about the CEO of these mines. Like, what is really happening? We really need to meet with them. We really need to extract this arrogance out of them because what they are doing in our land, in our province, is a serious arrogance. Now, when we've got the ANC that is timid, the ANC that does not have a vision, it will be easy for them to thrive. But this time around, you can hear that they've met their match through the current PC of the ANC. So, of course, as the African National Congress Youth League, we have always been a body of opinion within the African National Congress. But where the ANC does correct, we will always commend them. Where they do not do things right, we will always point to those things. But for now, we are quite gratified with the speed that the African National Congress is moving with. It indeed shows that at its helm of the leadership is the former the former leaders of the African National Congress Youth League. And the former chairperson Yabana, like
I want to narrow it down. Please, if you have a question, just raise your hand so that we are able to engage you, particularly on issues that have been raised now. But as we narrow it down to an end, before we take some of our audience chair, one of the things that you've raised, which is very, very important, is the issue of unity in the province. But now, ordinary people, they don't understand this concept. Unity, fighting, they are outside. There are people who are staunch ANC members. They are not even members, but voters. People who say, nah, I can't karata, but they are voters. They know it's a part of our 4 years. What do you say to them in terms of the ability of the ANC to carry the nation forward, particularly in the Northwest Province? As a person who's listening in a far-flung Tlhakame, or in some Masibudule or whatever, listening to us now, why do they still have to believe in the ANC?
Now, if you read the report of the Statistician General, the census, which will tell you what is it that we have done as the ANC. They're starting from 1996 to date on a number of issues. There is no party anywhere in the world that has done what the ANC has done in 30 years to fix a mess which was created in over 364 years within 30 years.
Yeah, by monopoly.
Yeah, yesterday I was saying, for an example, and I just want to make these quick examples because I want you to give them an opportunity to raise questions.
Yeah.
When we leave here, they must not say they were not given an
What in-
opportunity. In 1996, only 7% of our people had access to clean running water in 1996.
Yeah.
Today, as we speak, it's 82% of our people that have access to clean running water.
Which is a commendable thing.
It's only 2 areas, by the way, where there are serious challenges of water. It's your Ratlo and Moretele.
Yeah.
And I've said we have identified these challenges even before this report was completed. That is why when we launched Operation Thunzalero, myself, together with the Minister of Water and Sanitation, we agreed that he must go to Moretele. He went to Moretele because we wanted to address this problem.
Yeah.
One of the things that I said yesterday, I met with a mine called Hamon in Ratlo. I said, you can't be mining here when our people don't have water.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And that's not what I'm going to tell you now is not a good story to tell. They said to me, but do you know, Chairperson, that we had built a plant in Ramotsere of water, reverse osmosis. That plant was neglected. And that plant had the capacity to give people of Graipan, the whole of Graipan, water.
And it was neglected.
It was neglected. And they said, we are prepared to go and fix it. But for as long as there will be somebody who will operate it and maintain it. And in that instance, your district municipality is the water service authority. And that plant is in the books of the local municipality, which is not a water service authority. That is why I had to call them under one roof.
Yeah.
And we said, transfer this asset to the district, and then the mine must fix the asset. And once the asset is fixed, then the district must operate and maintain. And we are getting there. So people are going to get water. They say there are problems, of course.
Yeah.
The Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation presented yesterday that there are taps. If you open the tap, water is not coming out and so on. So we are attending to those problems. But that's not only that.
Yeah.
People in the Northwest who did not have houses in 1996, they were less than 10%. Today, it's 88%.
Those that
People who have houses,
yes.
as we speak, 88%. And we are getting into 100%. Now, if you are a South African and you say a party which has been in power for 30 years and it has done all these things,
Yeah.
and it still wants to do more, we want to get into 100%, and you don't vote for it, you want to vote for something else, what is it that you are doing? If you want to vote for the DA, for an example, which was part of the establishment,
Yeah.
which was part of this more than 400 years of poverty, unemployment, and so on. Why do you want to bring them back? To do what?
Yeah.
To take us back. We can't be going back, we need to be going forward. If you want to vote for a party that is just making slogans every day, which does not even know what it means to run a government.
Complaining all the time.
Yeah, and just say, by tomorrow we'll do this and so on.
Yeah.
They are not giving you factual information. As the ANC, we are giving you facts. We are saying this is what we are going to do. And you must, if you go to our elections manifesto on the 24th, what will be presented there, it will be something that has been properly researched, something that will be implementable. Because as the ANC, whatever we do, we use the SMART principle. We don't just do things and so on.
Empirical evidence.
Yeah, we do things using SMART principle and so on, things that we can achieve. The president, when he was addressing, he spoke about Tintswalo.
Yeah.
And all of us, we
And
know
we are
about
all
it.
Tintswalos.
And I don't want to repeat it and so on.
Yeah.
But every young person who was born in 1994, they will tell you about what we brought to that person's life and so on. A lot of differences. Get into social media as we speak today. You will see there are just too many Tintswalos.
Yeah.
Those Tintswalos will tell you that in 1994, this was my situation. This is where I am today. And it is only the ANC that can do that and nobody else.
I'm listening to you. Your words are reverberating in my head. I like your level of honesty. You know, it's not easy to find someone who espouses so much integrity. I hope that cascade to your PC members, your regional leaders, your ordinary members, everyone actually within the ANC, so that they are able to see. Because the level of humility, if something went wrong, you just give us a good example about the issue that the water plant that was neglected. It shows that you are able to see things to say, here, this is where we've done wrong, and you are correcting it. I think that's very commendable.
Yeah, that's what we expect from all leaders of the ANC. Yeah. Honesty is very important. We can't hide anything. If we are wrong, we must be able to say, yeah, we were wrong, and we must fix it.
Chairman.
Thank you very much, Program Director. My name is Litlogile Museki. I'm presiding over the structure that we just spoke about. I've listened to the chairperson since yesterday. We have listened to the deliberations in the plenary. We have listened to the NEC members. One who was here yesterday, we've listened to the NEC member today, Comrade Soviet. Yesterday it was Comrade Matla.
Yeah.
What is very interesting is that the message that we are delivering is converging. The convergence is about, firstly, that we come from a very difficult history, where our people were brutalized by the apartheid and the imperialist regimes. 30 years ago, we attained the liberation, and the situation in the country and for our ordinary people has improved. I'm using the word improved because we still have a long way to go. And I agree with the chairperson that we still have a long way to go. Now, prior to 1994, correctly so, I could not be allowed to walk on the street without something called Dom Pass. I was a citizen of this country. I was not receiving services that our people are receiving today. Our people did not have electricity.
Pension.
Our people, the grants were racially distributed. Our people, the majority of this country, did not receive that. We are proud to say that as a liberation movement that is now governing or leading the people of this country, the lives of our people have changed better. Where there are challenges, as the chairperson says, the disconnects in somehow, not communicating properly. We are proud to say that we are reconnecting, we have reconnected with our people, and we are strengthening those areas to ensure that whatever has been done, it is done with our people, for our people. Thank you very much.
Do you want to give a bite to Chair? The next speaker should ascend in the meantime as Chair responds to this.
No, I think you must give the next speaker. I think the veteran was simply indicating all the things that we have done and where we come from, which is very important. And I think also for the benefit of the Youth League, the veteran was also once a member of the Youth League. I remember when we went
As 12 years.
yeah, I remember when we went to his village in Bracklachte in the 80s. We went there to launch a Bracklachte Youth Congress. We launched it at 3:00 in the morning. The Bophuthatswana soldiers were all over, but they did not see us. But we left that area with a structure of the Youth League in Bracklachte.
Against all odds.
Against all odds.
We have seen our government, especially in our province, women are being deployed in a very strategic positions. The issue of the 50-50 is being adhered to. We want to request the chairperson of the province to really encourage our government to empower women economically. Re lebeletse gore re ska ra kgatha ditlhaga fela, chairperson, but we are very skilled in terms of the housing sectors and the roads, etc. Re kopa go afodiwe basadi an opportunity to do business in our province so that we can deal with the thought that women belongs to the kitchen. The training and the incapacitating of women into business so that le bone ba kgone gore ba contribute to our economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Round of applause.
Secondly, I want to speak on the issue of crime, more especially gangsterism. And young people, most of them, are participating in this gangsterism. The ANC-led government must take a stand in terms of issues of crime that is happening in the province, because it's really not speaking nice to us as the province to say we are not dealing decisively with the issue of crime, where gangsterism will go to municipalities, take over project, as if project belongs to them. But I heard the provincial chair of the ANC have pronounced that criminals want to be at the forefront using this gangsterism and so on. We must stop that, and we must allow our community to benefit in everything that is happening in this province. The last point is the issue of corruption. We are very clear as Sanko that anyone that is found corrupt is either in public sector, in their own organization, that person must be dealt with. And we really, Chair of the ANC, we want to hear you as the ANC very clear, pronouncing yourself in terms of corruption, because this corruption is really making delays in terms of service delivery, because when our people have to benefit, they benefit for themselves first, instead of addressing issues that must go to our community.
Let's start first with the comment from the Women's League. You know, in my other life, I'm the MEC responsible for human settlements. And in that department, nationally, we have taken a decision that at least 40% of the work must go to women in that department.
Yeah.
Again, Northwest, we are #1. We have exceeded the 40% in that department, in the Northwest. But what we have said is, and we said it also in this Lekgotla, that this thing of 50% representation of women or more is a constitutional matter. It can only be changed by the National Conference of the ANC. The National Executive Committee can't change it.
Yeah.
So all of us, we are compelled to do this work.
Implement.
And if you don't do so, it means you are violating the constitution of the ANC. You are committing an offense. And that is why it is important for leaders of the ANC to understand this thing. It's not a choice, it's a constitutional matter which we must do.
It is, of course, our responsibility to empower women, and we are doing so without fail. And I agree with the convener of the Women's League that you can't only be considering women on positions that do not matter. But it goes back to what I said earlier on. All these positions, you need to have certain qualifications. If you don't have a qualification to be a CFO, you can't be a CFO. You can't be a CFO, unfortunately. So it is important for our people to go to school. It is important for our people to have these qualifications in order for them to get these decent jobs and so on. But if you don't have qualifications and so on, we can't say as government that we can't do anything. That is why we are coming with all these other initiatives, whether it's your EPWP, CDWP, and so on and so forth, in order to accommodate others who, not because of their making, but because of apartheid. Because before 1994, they were denied the opportunity to go to school. They did not have access to education. It was very difficult and so on. So we can't just say, no, now we are not considering you. We need to think about the other alternatives, and that's what we are doing as the African National Congress. It's the first area that we are visiting. We are going there. Now, I'm not going to tell you now in this meeting what is it that the Sibanye has done in Marikana, because we want to launch those projects when we are in Marikana.
Oh yes,
On that particular day, we'll invite you. We want to launch those projects. A lot has been done, whether it's schools, it's clinics, it's roads, and so on. It's just a lot. So we'll be there. Now that we are talking about the president was supposed to go there, the premier said he's going there, and so on. You must remember there was a commission, which was established in Marikana. And that commission said, I think it was about 6 things that needed to be done in Marikana. And 5 of them are done. Whether it's houses for the widows, it's schooling for
compensation,
and so on.
Yeah.
Those things are done, except one. But we'll make pronouncements when we are there. We'll make those pronouncements when we are there. So we are getting into Marikana. The people of Marikana are waiting for the ANC-led government. And the ANC-led government is coming.
Yeah.
So I was answering that question. The mines intervening, assisting municipalities and so on, they are doing it. I spoke about Harmony earlier on.
Yeah.
They are doing it. There are other mines that I'm meeting with them and so on to do the same thing. I have said to them, by the way, that one of the disadvantages, more often than not, the mine will say we must invest in an area where we are doing mining or where we are doing work.
Yeah.
I said to them they need to think beyond that. Because if we are going to do so, because over 90% of the mines are in Bojanala, in the northwest.
The province,
Yeah, are in Bojanala. So if all these mines are only going to focus in Bojanala and nowhere else, it means we are going to have problems in other areas. So that is why we need to work together with them and so on. They focus here, but they must go into other areas and so on.
Yeah.
And then the issue of your social labor plans. Our municipalities, our traditional leaders and so on, they need to play their role. Because more often than not, these mines, they develop social labor plans, they submit them to DMR, and then without involving everybody. We have spoken about those things and so on.
Yeah.
But a municipality must have an IDP. Once a municipality has got an IDP, it means the mine, when they do their social labor plans, they must take from this IDP. Yeah, so that's what we need to do and so on. But we are getting into this space, we are getting there slowly and so on. The unfortunate thing is that these guys are in England.
Hey, they're running.
I want CEOs. I want CEOs in South Africa. I want CEOs in the Northwest. I want these mines to be in the hands of Africans. Because these mines, they belong to us.
Right.
These minerals, they belong to us. This land belongs to us. This land does not belong to somebody who is staying in England. It is wrong and so on. This is where we need to zoom in, and we must get into into that space, and we must get into that space as quickly as possible. The most disturbing part, during the reopening of the schools, I went to Matlosana. Now the chairperson of Sanko is from there. And that is why he's talking about crime, he's talking about gangsterism and so on. It is bad in Matlosana.
The illegal mining.
Illegal mining and so on. It is bad in Matlosana. The schools that I visited, principals were saying to me, you know, Chair, we are doing well. But learning and teaching is being disturbed on several occasions by these gangsters. But secondly, in our own schools, some of these learners are members of these gangster groups.
They've diverted them now.
Yeah, and they are telling us a simple thing. Principal, I don't so sibua, but for my safety and so on, I must belong to this gang. When I almost school, you are not there. The only protection I can get, the gangsters since I must belong to them, otherwise I'm in trouble. And I've said to the police, we'll have to do something about this thing, because we can't just leave the situation as is. And I know that some of the members of the ANC will not like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it, because I've done it. And I will continue to do it up until you take me out of the office. In JB Max, I went there. People are simply vandalizing our infrastructure. Stealing cables, doing
Everything on their way.
all sorts of things and so on. The cameras in that town, the majority of cameras that are there, they belong to an organization, a racist organization called AfriForum. They have evidence of who is doing this, they have photos and so on. And I had to go and meet with them, and they said to me, because I was meeting with them in my capacity as the acting premier, they said, acting premier, we have this information. Unfortunately, when we go to the police, they say the owner of those transformers, the owner of those things must be the one who's coming to open the case. And the owner happens to be the municipality, and at times the municipality is not doing that work. So I had to call them all of them under one roof. Private companies, AfriForum, the police, the mayor, the MM, and so on. I said, for us to defeat this thing, we must work together.
Yeah.
Let us forget about our political differences, because crime is affecting all of us. It does not know whether you are a member of the EFF, you are AfriForum, or you are ANC.
Yeah.
Let's work together and defeat this animal, because it is bad. So that's what we'll have to do. We'll have to mobilize each and every individual, each and every organization in society in order for us to tackle this thing of crime. Because police can't do it alone, and so on. So we'll have to do this thing together. With the Zamazamas, the army has been deployed and so on to do this work. The unfortunate thing, and that is why we need to call on our people to be part of this thing. They are now part of the communities. Yeah, the police get in there, and so on. You are harboring these criminals.
True.
So that is why we need to call on our people. Well, let's not harbor these criminals. It is our responsibility to report these criminals. These criminals must be arrested. It's finally this Paza shop and so on.
Yeah.
Because ke rona re ba funding tsa rona ba bula spaza shop ba rekisa di products tse di seng correct and so on, and they are there without papers. Ha maponisa a tla, we are the first ones ba re ba thipa. Maponisa a tla tsena ka mo kamoreng ya ka iphihle mo teng and so on. And we are creating unnecessary problems. South Africa is becoming a place where tourists are afraid to come to because of this crime. So let us work together. We must fight it. We must use the might of the state to fight these criminals.
We must fight crime with vigor.
Yeah.
I'm the head of communications of SASCO in the province, and as well as a member of the ANC in good standing in Ward 25, Rustenburg sub-region. To the chair of the ANC, firstly, I want to appreciate the contribution made by the Veterans League on the issue of racial challenges that they've had as their generation. And also, I want to take this opportunity to express also our frustrations in relation to the racial challenges that we are facing as our own generation. So it means that their generation and our generation have some common aspect relating to the racial challenges in our country. Firstly, we have a challenge as student leaders because we are currently being ambushed in all campuses on the issue of racial matters concerned. We have the HODs, majority of the staff or management within campuses, Chair. They are abusing our student leaders. Our student leaders have cases open with the SAPS. They are being taken to court on issues that are unfound. And we have a challenge because we do not have access to people who can represent us so that these cases can be challenged. And that's where the management has the upper hand to say they're frustrated, they are students, and they have nowhere to look for help. So we want to understand in the context of the ANC policy where it speaks about non-racial and non-sexist society. What is their view and their position on that as to how do they protect these student leaders so that they can continue with their studies and continue to represent students within the institutions of higher learning? No, thank you. Number two is the issue of allocation of funds for the bursary program. As a former acting premier, so I want to pick up your head on it as to how is the allocation of bursaries is going to unfold for the 2024 academic year, and also in relation to historic debts and also those who need access to registration fees. How is the office of the premier going to assist as a deployee of the ANC? Lastly, we want to check on the issue of, to the chair of the ANC Youth League, as a leader of the PYA, there's a concern on the maladministration and corruption within the NSFAS and the Department of Higher Education and Training. What is the position of the ANC Youth League in taking these matters forward and actually demonstrating what needs to be done as to correct and cap the challenges that we have in those departments?
Thank you so much, my brother. You've got a plethora of questions, but let's take 3 for now.
Well, mine is on the, just to commend the government of Northwest, in particular on taking the issue of economy very serious, because it is the only issue that is going to make sure that we hit the ground and change the economic situation of people of Northwest, in particular young people.
Now, let me start by thanking the PEC of the ANC for availing the chairperson to come and interact with the people of the province and the country at large. Look, a few things. We have a responsibility in the next 2 months to ensure that we resuscitate and then give back to the community the infrastructure which we have built ourselves, particularly to young people. And this is doable. The Youth League has came with a program, we used to call it Adiboele Bagaetso Chairman, and we're saying this to the ANC-led government. You go just in front of this venue where we are. There is a park there. It used to be very beautiful. Young people, I grew up there. There are many things that we did there which will not obviously disclose here. But it is a park wherein young people of Rustenburg used to converge for the recreational activities, and it assisted many of them to stay away from the drugs. You would mention quite a number of things. You have sporting facilities in communities which have since been built and not been given back to the community and all utilized. Libraries that are like that and everything. These are low-hanging fruits, things that we can just reactivate quickly and give back to the community. Because, Chair, we live with a problem in the Northwest where there is a perception that things used to be workable in the government of Buputa Tswana as opposed to this government. And it's not true. It's just a narrative which is supported by the laziness of our comrade. Part of the things that make our comrade not to hand this thing back to society or allow society to use them is because we have comrades within these institutions who are not necessarily interested in the people enjoying this infrastructure, but they're interested in the tender process of of building that infrastructure. And once it is there, then there is no proceeds that comes with giving them away. So we can mention them. There are quite many. We still are going to interact with the ANC, identifying each one of them. We did that with the Olympia Stadium, and now it is given to the team from the Northwest, which is in the second division of the league, and they're using it. So there's quite a lot in that space that can that we can be able to achieve as well. Chair, we must also applaud you on the program of dispatching young people who have acquired skills into assisting the administration in municipalities. I know that there was a rollout of that program from the provincial government. We must applaud it because it has improved administration in various institutions, but as well as imparting some sense of experience and assisting young people to at least acclimatize with the environment of the municipalities and as part, of course, of preparing them to take over. We just need to get a sense of how far is that program, and then because there are quite a number of entities or institutions in the form of municipalities that can still benefit from that, and then there's still a number of young people that can still be plugged into that. Chair, the Youth League speaks of the creation of the economic corridors. What we say is that we must speedily industrialize so that a province like Northwest, we don't produce raw materials and export them and allow these raw materials to create employment for young people in other countries when our young people here are unemployed. We do have a responsibility to speedily enact that as part of the plan of government from the Northwest. But the first way in which we can be able to attend to that, Chair, is to ensure that the special economic zone of the Northwest Province, which was since enacted in 2013, is put into, is concluded, and then it must be able to operate. The Youth League has marched to the provincial government before and said that this Bujanala special economic zone must work. And maybe if we can prioritize that and do the part of government, because that is an area which can assist us in absorbing over 9,000 young people into the job market. And you can imagine for the economy such as Moses Kotane, for an area such as Moses Kotane, what will be the absorption of over 9,000 young people into the job market due to the entire development of that particular place and so forth. So I think those are some of the things that we need to drive quickly. Chair would have also wanted to speak about, we spoke quite a lot in the commissions yesterday about how we must resuscitate school sports, how we must get young people really to be at the playgrounds. The last point is that we said there is Mabana, which receives funding from the provincial pairs. But Mabana is not benefiting all young people of Northwest. How does a young person in Moretele benefit from Mabana? They don't benefit. the reason they don't benefit is because the infrastructure, the buildings of Mabana, is not closer to them, it's very far from them. One of the things which we must be able to do, working with other spheres of government, is to try and see that we can't have Mabana decentralized, or we can't have some of the activities of Mabana being available at the local levels, and then only utilize the provincial
Office.
the provincial office and facilities of Mabana as the real centers of excellence, meaning that and all these ones who are showing potential will then be centered there, because we are using a lot of money in Mabana, but it's not necessarily assisting all students, all young people in the province. If there was a proper Mabana here, maybe I could have been slender by now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Chair, I'm sure this is what I was talking about, the embellishment, that the issues from the grassroots level. I don't know, I see that you keep throwing your eye somewhere, but it's fine. You can tap on that.
No, I know that the chairperson of the Youth League
Yes.
want to answer the question of Mabana as the acting CEO there.
Yeah.
You want to do that. But let me quickly indicate that one, we had deployed 100 unemployed graduates to different municipalities as a department of COGTA. And we have said we need to increase that number, because we did some quick assessment together with the University of the Northwest, just to check as to how many unemployed graduates do we have in the Northwest. And the number came to 700 and I think 36. And we said, let's immediately take the first 100, which we did.
Which is also a commendable move.
Yeah, and which we did, and we deployed them to all these municipalities to go and assist. And they are there doing work. And that is why, as and when I speak, and I speak with confidence, that we are stabilizing these municipalities. We are now in discussions with Mayor Sita and the other Sita for them to bring more resources, because we want to take all these graduates, deploy them in different areas in government and so on. Because firstly, we want them to have experience as well. Because more often than not, you complete your studies, you apply, you are told about 5 years experience. Where must you get it from?
Exactly.
And so on. So we want them to get this experience as well and so on. So that's the project that we are busy with, and we are succeeding. And I'm quite excited about it. And I suppose the Youth League must also be very excited, including SASCO, about it. The second matter, let's go for a commercial break. Professor Bismarck, we've been friends with him for ages, before he became a vice chancellor in this institution. And when he became a vice chancellor, we've been working very well, without fail. That includes the university that we are talking about here. They are part of that team that is doing that exercise. So the issues that we are raising, I'm going to talk to Bismarck when I leave here. Issues of racism in institutions of higher learning. Because I know that Bismarck is one of us. He's one of us. If Bismarck is one of us and so on, so he can't allow those things to happen in that institution, particularly in the University of the Northwest, all the campuses, whether it's Vaal, it's Potch, it's Mahikeng, can't allow those things to happen. But I will have that conversation with him in order to understand exactly what is the state. Now, the Premier is not here,
We are still dealing with this issue of bursaries. We are still dealing with it and so on. Because earlier on when you spoke, I thought that you were talking about the NSFAS. So I've realized that you are talking about those bursaries that are in government here in the Northwest and so on. So we are busy, we are busy with that. Once we are done, we'll come back. Because we think that previously things were not necessarily done correctly. So we need to fix other things and so on in order for all these young people to benefit out of these bursaries. We must understand what these bursaries are for what is that we want to achieve, not just to issue out. And we need you, once we have given you this bursary and so on, you must come back. We must benefit as a province from what we would have given you and so on. So those are the things that we are working on, and then I think as soon as possible, we'll be able to come back and say, this is what we are going to do going forward. Now, I was talking to the member of the NEC earlier on who said he's good with economics. And I was saying to him, you know, we've been struggling in that department. I don't know whether the MEC is here, because I said she must come here. We have been struggling in that department. Just to get an HOD who has got the relevant academic qualifications, it was not an easy task. These are the people that we need. And these comrades are sitting somewhere there, they don't apply and so on, and we need them. And I know that some of them are not applying because they are intimidated by this thing. You know, this animal called 5 years experience, 10 years experience is creating unnecessary problems. True. Because we have these people who are qualified and so on, they can't apply because we require this experience. Where are they going to get it from? So these are the things that we need to work on and so on. But I think the MEC, if she's not around, maybe she's outside, we are working on these things. We need this economist. We need them to get into the Northwest. Yeah. Northwest, by the way, is supposed to be the richest province in the country. Just on 3 areas. Your mining, your tourism, and your agriculture. We are supposed to be richer, the richest. We are not. It's because we don't have right people in right places. And that's what we need. We need visionaries. We need people who understand where do we want to go. The unfortunate thing is that people that we have, chairperson of the Youth League, these people who think that the economy is about tenders. Even some of the people that we deploy normally, and this one is not only in the Northwest. These people who fight for these positions, province to province, national to national, if you ask him, okay, no, MEC, this person will tell you, no, it's our time. And so on. Yeah. But now under my leadership, I don't want those types of people. I want a person when you deploy her or him to be an MEC of economic development, that person must understand what is it that needs to happen. When you deploy a person to a certain department, I understand it's not about tenders. Yeah. I and then I will go to Conga. They can get one cigar, you will then pay for this expensive champagne and so on. Government is not about that nonsense. In government, we need visionaries, people who, where do we want to go? It's about our people down there. So that's what we need, basically. And those skills are not there. It's not that they are not there in society. In society, they are there. But those people are struggling because they can't come into the system. Because the system is making it difficult for them to get in. Because of the experience and so on. Yeah. But those are the things that we need to fix, and we must fix these things expeditiously. And the Youth League must play this role. It's very important for the Youth League to play this role and so on. And I'm happy with the chairperson of the Youth League. I'm not sure whether he's still acting as the CEO of Mabad. But if he's still acting as the CEO of Mabad, these things that are said by the secretary of the Youth League, these are the things that they are supposed to be discussing. Do something about these things. into the system and begin to do this work and so on. Yeah. Because I want cadres. I don't like this term. We want cadres. I don't get that me, myself, and I. Now, we want cadres, but they will understand. We can't be complaining all the time. Really, a ruling party. Yeah. As a ruling party, we must provide solutions. We can't be complaining. I attended one meeting, ruling party. I won't mention which structure was it. 90% of the people who were raising hands, who were raising issues, is people who were complaining about Ronago government thing, we are not doing this, complaining about this and so on. Hanegika opportunity, the only thing I could say in that meeting was that, but comrades, because we are in charge, we are the ruling party. When we complain here, we complain who must do these things? Kimang above us. There is nobody, it's us. I complain. Why are we not fixing these things? It's only an MEC who complains about an HOD. Why are you not fixing it? Fix the problem and let's move and so on. You know, today I've raised an issue and I hope these MECs will act on this thing. Or implementers in government, it happened to be these officials. Well, now we are policymakers, we are not implementers. And these implementers are not implementing. What are we doing about it? We are in charge. So we must do something about it. Yeah. Let's get implementers. It's us who must take those decisions. And we are afraid to take decisions. We don't have the courage. It's because it's any body position by default. But then it's any center, you'll have courage to remove this person and get a person who will be able to do this work. Yeah. I know that I did not answer all the questions.
No, you've actually, I like how stoic you have been. You're straight to the point. Yeah. Don't play with power. If someone is playing Asa Samega Samega, it must go.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Get
what
someone else who can do the job. What do I say after this?
No, Chairman Auditor. I think we just need to make sure that we become catalysts to the process.
Yeah.
So that there is acceleration, like the chairman is saying. Because the ANC is the parliament of the people. Yesterday there were some clumsy clowns in Moses Mabhida. People were waiting for the manifesto. Who's really mean instead of the manifesto? Now, this shows that these people are just clowning, they are clumsy. Yeah. But why made the manifesto what's really mean? So the ANC is here. This organization has been here for the past 30 years. We've got the radical PC of the ANC that is relatively young in its phenotype and outlook. Yeah. We just needed to provide support to them. Our relationship with them is a complementary, contradictory approach. We will tell them where they are doing wrong. We will tell them where they are doing right.
Okay, we wrap it up now. You have dispatched everyone on the ground to make sure that they work, they do their job, what they're paid for. Now, people are listening. Your last message to the people that are listening as we prepare to go for this national pulse. Then we'll wrap it up. You take the last bite.
Yeah, the first one is to the foot soldiers of the African National Congress. We are facing the most difficult elections ever, where the majority of these splinter parties, the smaller parties.
Yeah, so some Madala making runs here.
Yeah, all of them are going to steal from the African National Congress. So we have a responsibility to make sure that we don't lose any person to the splinter groups. People must have confidence in the African National Congress. And for people to have confidence in the African National Congress, we must do what is expected of us. That is to deliver services to our people. That's what we must do. So all volunteers of the ANC, it is now time to go door to door. The door to door that we are going to do, we are not going to ask our people what is it that they want, we know. We must now go and provide answers.
Because since the last time we met with them, what is it that we have done to date? And what is it that we are going to do when we come back to office? That's what we must do. Our party agents, they need to make sure that on time, they are in voting stations. Work must be done at that level and so on, and we must make sure that these elections are free and fair. Doomsayers are already saying that we are going to have problems when elections are announced and so on. But they know, or now we don't know. Yeah. They are saying these elections might be stolen and so on. They are the ones who have got the capacity, or now we don't have it. They are the ones who have got the experience. At times they are saying those things were done, let's focus. Let's make sure that each and every person goes out there, he goes and vote, and they go and vote for the ANC. But what is important between now and the announcement of the date is for us to ensure that those people who have not registered, particularly our first-time voters, they must register online. And the ANC Youth League must lead this project. Yeah. We must treat it as a project, this thing. The ANC Youth League must lead. And the ANC must assist the ANC Youth League with all the necessary resources. I was talking to the chairperson and the secretary of the Youth League. They were telling me how last time when they were requesting resources and so on, now it's not about that. We have spoken to the treasurer and so on. We hope that he will do the right things. He will do the right things. Secondly, those who are able to walk into municipalities, they must go in there, go and register. MEOs must be there and so on. People are still allowed to register. So we must register as many people as we can in order for them to go and vote for the African National Congress. But let's go out there and work. Our elections machinery is in place. Our election machinery is up to scratch. We are just closing some few loopholes. But I can tell you with confidence that we are winning these elections. We are going to increase our margins in the Northwest. We are going to get more than 21 seats. Last time we got 21 seats. We want to go to 30. We now have 38 seats on Mudula Stool. I want 30. So we can only be able to get 30 if all of us, we can work very hard. Petty differences aside, Oliver Tambo says, this time is time to close rank. By closing rank, it means simple things. You forget about your petty differences, you focus on the enemy and you defeat the enemy. Thank you very much.
And that's it, you're out. Thank you so much, sir.